Sunshine's Adventures. In this evening's video, we are going to be talking about when Victoria wed Albert, so married Albert, and everything past that, and I'll let you guys know when I have stopped on this chapter of their lives. So Victoria's wedding in 1840 to Albert was very public. It was the royal marriage ceremony to be arranged with the enjoyment of the London public in mind. So clearly there was a lot of thought that went into this wedding, about like the London public being there and stuff, and making it very, very, very public. She travelled to the Chapel Royal at St James's Palace in an open carriage so that everyone could see her, which I think is absolutely amazing. If that was me, that's amazing. To show that she was a woman as well as queen, a style followed by many brides ever since. What I mean by that is, she wore a simple white dress instead of royal robes, which is a style followed by many brides ever since. So even to this day, women wear a white wedding dress unless they're having a themed wedding of some sort, like either Halloween or something like that. They wear a themed wedding dress, and yeah, so it was amazing, basically. Victoria's wedding, the white dress, the carriage ride through the streets, the very public nature of it, set the pattern for every subsequent marriage ceremony in the main line of descent within the royal family. It is an ongoing thing to be in a carriage, to have a white dress within the royal family, and she's white. For her marriage to Albert, Victoria chose a fashionable white satin court dress. As there were so many guests in the chapel, ladies had been requested not to add court trains to their dress to relieve the congestion. So what I mean by that is, the ladies were asked not to add trains, like add-ons to their dress to make it look longer, and stuff. The bride's procession entered to a fanfare of trumpets with Lord Melbourne at its head. The princess was supported by her uncle, the Duke of Sussex, in place of her father, which I think is amazing. And apparently she was actually his favourite niece as well, so there was that. Their short honeymoon was a success, and 3 days after her wedding, she wrote in her journal, "My dearest Albert, put on my stockings for me." So, like, basically put on her stockings for her. "I went in and saw him shave, a great delight for me." So she wrote, like, it sounds a bit more like bullet pointing, like she bullet pointed everything, which is, and plus obviously expressing her feelings at the exact same time. Victoria and Albert always presented themselves to the world as a very loving couple, but they did sometimes have terrible rows early in married life when their roles and responsibilities were unclear. For example, Albert wanted to choose his own staff, while Victoria insisted he accept her choices, and he was forced to give way. So he was allocated an English advisor and stuff like that, so he could learn the English ways, of what I got from looking into this. The official portraits of Victor and Albert were the first to be commissioned from the German artist Frank Ava Winterhalter, who would become their favoured contemporary painter. So this is a man that painted them on a regular basis, basically. Let's now move into married life. So Albert was no different from many men of his age who assumed that a man would take the dominant role in the marriage. Wider attitudes were changing as to what made a successful marriage. A writer at the time concealed her female readers that a happy relationship was founded on one important truth: the superiority of your husband as a man. So it was like kind of very popular and stuff. The Queen's first pregnancy in 1840 helped ease the situation. When she was not feeling well enough, sorry about that by the way, just trying to find the right words. When Victoria was not feeling well enough, Albert read her daily government dispatches to her. As her pregnancy progressed, they placed their desks side to side at Buckingham Palace so they could work together. Gradually, Albert assumed more control, becoming in fact Victoria's private secretary. Which, why not? That's actually quite amazing, to be honest with you. Let's move on to Victoria and Albert's children. So, Victoria and Albert's children. Victoria and Albert were delighted by the arrival of Princess Victoria. Obviously, she had a nickname, Vicky, born in the 1840. Although Victoria wrote that she found pregnancy difficult, a large family was her ambition. She wanted a large family. Vicky was followed by Albert Edward, later Edward VII, in 1841. Then Alice in 1843, Alfred in 1844, Helena in 1846, Louise in 1848, Arthur in 1850, Leopold in 1853, and Beatrice in 1857. Let's talk about the royal parents and how they were as parents. Victoria and Albert shared an interest in raising and educating their 9 children, and presented a happy family image to the world. Unlike many aristocrat fathers of the period, Albert enjoyed playing with his children and spent a lot of time with them. He is so kind to them, Victoria wrote, and romps with them delightfully. Holidays and birthdays were marked with a great excitement, with scenes of joyful domestic Christmases, masterminded by Albert, appearing in the new illustrated newspapers. So basically, he was appearing in the newspapers to great public delight. The public absolutely loved this. I am going to stop the video here, and I will see you in the next video. I will, at the end of this video, there'll be a slideshow that you will see of of Victoria and Albert's children, their wedding, everything, for you in the next bit coming up. But I'll see you in the next video.